The $4,500 Valentino pump caught Diana in the ribs before she could even process what was happening. She went down hard, crashing through a display of crystal ornaments, the impact tearing her dress and splitting her lip against the polished marble floor. The entire Apgujeong Plaza fell into shocked silence. Diana tasted blood as she looked up at the man towering over her, his face twisted in disgust. David, her former fiancé. The man who'd stripped her of everything 3 years ago. Pathetic, David spat. Stay in the dirt where trash belongs. He had absolutely no clue who she'd become. No idea the desperate woman he remembered, the one who'd begged him not to go, who'd sobbed in her beat-up Honda with $23 in her wallet, who'd miscarried their child alone in a free clinic. That woman was dead. He couldn't see the flawless diamond on her finger hidden beneath her leather glove. Couldn't imagine the luxury penthouse she'd woken up in that morning. Had no concept of the platinum card in her handbag with unlimited spending power. And David definitely didn't know about her husband. The man whose security detail was currently restraining him. The man whose phone was vibrating in her clutch at this exact moment. Kang Siwon, her husband. Seoul's most feared underground emperor. As Diana's shaking hand answered the call and Siwon's terrifyingly calm voice asked, "Are you injured?" She watched the first flicker of recognition cross David's face. He'd just assaulted the wrong woman. And in roughly 7 minutes, when Siwon's convoy pulled into this mall's underground parking, David Chen was about to receive an education in consequences that would obliterate everything he'd ever built. But right now, in this frozen moment, he still believed she was nobody. That was about to change forever. Before we dive into this incredible story of love, retribution, and rising from the ashes, I want to wish each and every one of you a joyful and blessed new year. May your holidays overflow with warmth, laughter, and precious time with the people who matter most. Now I need you to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. Your support keeps this channel alive. Ready? Let's jump into this powerful journey. Diana stood in their enormous walk-in closet, running her fingers along her understated black dress. Surrounded by luxury, designer pieces arranged like an expensive army, she still reached for simplicity. Some things never left you. "There you go again," Siwon said from the doorway, already impeccable in a charcoal suit that cost more than her first apartment's rent. He was beautiful in that dangerous way, dark hair perfectly styled, radiating authority even in their private space. "What do you mean?" She turned, fastening pearl studs to her ears. "Picking the cheapest items in your closet." He moved behind her, hands settling on her waist. "You're the wife of one of Seoul's wealthiest men. Stop dressing like you're counting pennies." She laughed, the sound genuine. "I prefer understated things." "I prefer spoiling you." He kissed the curve of her neck. "Indulge me." "You indulge me by accepting me exactly as I am." His reflection smiled at her, that rare softness he reserved only for her. Always. Then his expression shifted, more serious. "Apgujeong Plaza today?" "Just picking up some Christmas gifts, I'll be quick." Something dark flickered across his features. Siwon's protectiveness, bordered on obsessive, something she simultaneously cherished and occasionally found stifling. "Take Jinho and Hyun with you." "I don't need bodyguards for shopping, baby." His jaw set, turning to stone. "Diana, you understand what I am. What I do. The enemies that creates. You never leave this penthouse without protection. This isn't negotiable." That was Kang Siwon, underground king of Seoul, speaking. Not the man who held her at night. She touched his face gently. "All right, I'll take them." The tension melted from his shoulders. "Thank you." He glanced at his watch, platinum and minimalist, but worth a fortune. "I have business. Back by 7. Dinner reservations at 8:30. "Where?" That dangerous smile returned. "Surprise. Wear the red dress, the one that drives me insane. Heat crept into her cheeks even as she grinned. You're impossible. Only with you. One more kiss, possessive and deep, leaving her breathless in their closet. 3 hours later, Diana walked through Apgujeong Plaza with Jin-ho and Hyun, maintaining respectful distance. The mall was a temple to wealth, marble gleaming under crystal chandeliers, every boutique a shrine to excess. Christmas decorations sparkled everywhere, gold and silver, sophisticated and costly. She'd just left a shop, bags in hand, when she saw him. David, her ex-fiancé. The man who'd abandoned her homeless and pregnant. The man who'd drained her savings and vanished. The father of the baby she'd lost from starvation and stress 3 weeks after he left. He leaned against a Prada display, laughing with a woman covered in designer labels. Identical. That same arrogant smile, same expensive taste purchased with stolen money, same entitled posture. Diana's hands trembled. The bags nearly slipped. 3 years. She'd believed she'd moved past this, believed she'd healed. But seeing him resurrected everything. The agony, the betrayal, the nights sobbing in her car. The morning she'd awakened in blood, losing their baby completely alone. She should leave. Turn around. Walk away. But her feet had become roots in the marble. David glanced up, their eyes connected. Nothing. Then recognition exploded across his face, followed by shock, then something uglier. Disdain. He whispered to the woman, then approached Diana. Every nerve screamed at her to run, but she couldn't move. Well, well, David drawled as he got closer, that familiar condescending tone making her skin crawl. Diana, never expected you here. Figured you'd be at discount stores where you fit in. She found her voice somewhere. David, I have nothing to say to you. Still bitter? He assessed her appearance mockingly. Though I see you've upgraded slightly. Found some desperate fool to bankroll you. That's always been your specialty, hasn't it? Playing victim until some idiot takes pity. The words struck like physical violence. Jin-ho and Hyun moved closer, sensing danger. You abandoned me with nothing, Diana said quietly, hating the tremor in her voice. You stole everything I had. David's laugh echoed, drawing attention. Stole? Sweetheart, I freed myself from a leech. Best choice I ever made. You were always so clingy, so pathetic, expecting me to support you like you couldn't manage your own existence. I was carrying your child. Should I have cared? His eyes went cold. I told you up front I didn't want children. You probably got pregnant deliberately trying to trap me. Thank God I escaped when I did. Diana's vision blurred with tears she refused to release. The woman David had been with approached, threading her arm through his possessively. Is this her? The woman asked, examining Diana with barely hidden disgust. The ex you mentioned? The one who stalked you? Stalked? Diana's voice rose. I never— Don't create a scene, Marcus interrupted. You're humiliating yourself as always. He turned dismissively. Something inside Diana shattered. 3 years of pain, of reconstructing herself from rubble, of nights questioning why she hadn't been sufficient. You destroyed me, she said, her voice cracking. I lost everything because of you. Our baby died because— David whirled back, face contorted with rage. Don't you dare try guilting me with that fiction. It's not fiction. I lost our baby because I was starving and homeless and— Shut up. He moved toward her aggressively. Jin-ho inserted himself between them instantly, hand inside his jacket, where Diana knew he carried his weapon. Hyun had his phone out, certainly calling Sewon. David barely acknowledged them. What? You hired some Korean thugs to feel important. How much are you paying these guys to pretend you matter? Sir, back away, Jin-ho said in heavily accented English, his voice lethally calm. Or what? David pushed forward. It happened instantaneously. David shoved Jin-ho, attempting to reach Diana. In the struggle, his hand connected with Diana's shoulder, hard enough to send her stumbling. She hit a display stand, crying out as she fell. Merchandise exploded everywhere, her bags flying. The mall went silent. Diana looked up from the floor, her lip bleeding where it had struck the metal frame, her dress ripped at the shoulder. David stood over her, face crimson with rage. "Stay down where you belong, you worthless—" He never finished. Jin-ho had him pinned to the ground in seconds, arm wrenched behind his back. Hyun was helping Diana up, his face pale with terror. Not for himself, but for what was coming, because Siwon was going to lose his mind. "Mom, are you injured?" Hyun asked in Korean, then English. "We need to leave." "I'm okay," Diana whispered. But she wasn't. Her hands trembled. Her lip throbbed, but worse was the emotional wound torn open, hemorrhaging all over her carefully rebuilt life. Security flooded in. David's girlfriend was shrieking. Other shoppers had phones out recording. "Release me!" David shouted, fighting Jin-ho's grip. "She's insane! She attacked me!" "Sir, we have cameras," one security guard said, gesturing above. "We witnessed everything. You assaulted this woman." "She was harassing my boyfriend," the girlfriend screamed. Diana's phone rang. Siwon's name illuminated the screen. Her hand shook as she answered. "Hello? Are you hurt?" His voice was eerily calm, which was somehow more terrifying than shouting. "I'm all right, just a scratch." "Don't lie to me, Diana. Are you hurt?" "My lip is bleeding. I fell, but I'm fine, really." "Who touched you?" She closed her eyes. "Who touched you?" "My ex-fiancé. David. But it's handled. Security has him." "Put Hyun on." She handed over the phone with trembling hands. Watched as Hyun's expression shifted from nervous to absolutely petrified as he listened to whatever Siwon was saying. He responded in rapid Korean, too fast for her intermediate skills, then returned the phone. "Baby," she said softly. "I'm 8 minutes away." His voice was pure ice. "Don't let him leave. If security tries releasing him, tell them who you are. Use my name." "Siwon, please don't." "He put his hands on you. He hurt you. There is no universe where that man walks away without paying." The line died. Diana looked at Jin-ho, still restraining David, at Hyun positioned protectively beside her, at David's girlfriend screaming at security, at the crowd watching, filming, whispering, and she felt cold certainty settle in her stomach. David had no idea what he'd just done. If you're loving this story so far, please smash that like button and subscribe for more Afro-Korean romance content. Drop a comment telling me what you think will happen when Siwon arrives. Now let's see what unfolds next. Mall security had separated everyone by the time Siwon arrived. Diana sat in the security office, a paramedic cleaning the cut on her lip. Hyun guarded the door. Jin-ho was giving a statement in another room. David and his girlfriend occupied yet another room, their angry voices occasionally penetrating the walls. Then Siwon entered. He'd come directly from his meeting, still in his suit, but there was nothing civilized about him now. His expression was carved from granite, his eyes absolutely black with fury. 6 of his men followed, all armed, all wearing identical cold expressions. The security guards stood immediately recognizing power when they saw it, but Siwon only saw Diana. He crossed to her in 3 strides, hands cupping her face with devastating gentleness. "Let me see." "It's just a scratch," she whispered. His eyes travelled over her torn dress, the bandage on her lip, the tear tracks on her cheeks. When he looked at her again, she saw murder in his eyes. "Who is he?" His voice was barely audible. "Point him out." "Siwon, please. Let's just leave. It's not worth—" "Not worth it?" His hand trembled against her cheek. "You're bleeding. You're crying. Someone put their hands on you violently. My wife. My woman. My entire world. And you think it's not worth it?" He switched to Korean, speaking to Hyun in rapid sentences. Hyun bowed and left immediately. "Mr. Kang," one of the security supervisors approached cautiously, clearly recognizing the name. "We have the incident recorded. The man who pushed her is next door. We've contacted the police." "Cancel it," Siwon said flatly. "Sir, The police won't be necessary. I'll handle this personally." The supervisor paled. "Mr. Kang, we can't just—" Siwon pulled out his phone, made one call, spoke 3 sentences in Korean, then disconnected. 30 seconds later, the supervisor's radio crackled. He listened, his face draining of colour, then nodded. "Yes, sir. Understood. The police have been notified it was a false alarm." This was Siwon's soul, his city, his kingdom. Diana watched it all with strange detachment. This was the man the world feared. The underground king who controlled more of Seoul than most people realized. The man who could make people vanish with a phone call. And he was ready to burn everything down because someone hurt her. "I want to see him," Siwon said, still watching Diana. "The man who did this. I want you to show me." "Baby, what are you planning?" He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, the corner of her mouth, gentle kisses contradicting the violence simmering beneath his skin. "I'm going to ensure he never touches you again, that he never thinks your name without terror. He's not worth it. You are worth everything." He pulled back, eyes searching hers. "Tell me about him. Tell me why I don't know about an ex-fiancé who clearly hurt you badly enough that you're shaking from seeing him." She'd never told him the complete story, had given him basics. Abusive ex, hard times, moved to Korea for a fresh start. But not the details, not the depth of betrayal. Looking into his eyes now, she knew he needed to know, deserved to know. "His name is David Chen," she began quietly. "We were together 3 years, engaged for 7 months. I thought he loved me. I worked 2 jobs supporting us while he was finding himself and building his business. I paid our rent, our bills, bought his clothes, his car, everything." Siwon's jaw clenched, but he stayed silent, listening. "Then I got pregnant. I was terrified but happy. I thought he'd be too. I thought we'd build a family." Her voice cracked. "He waited until I was 4 months along, until I'd bought baby clothes and painted the nursery. Then one day, I came home and he was gone. He'd emptied our bank account, my money, taken everything valuable and left me a note saying he couldn't be tied down to a desperate woman and her trap baby." "Diana," Siwon's voice was raw, "I lost our apartment, lost both jobs because I was too pregnant and too broke to maintain appearances. I lived in my car for 3 weeks. I tried to eat, tried to stay healthy for the baby, but I had nothing. No money, no food, no help. And then one morning I woke up and there was blood everywhere. And I knew—" She couldn't continue. Siwon pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. She felt the tension in every muscle, the rage vibrating through him. "I lost the baby in a charity hospital," she whispered against his chest. "Alone. And then I had nothing left. No baby, no money, no future. I wanted to die." "But you didn't." His voice was thick with emotion. "No, I got angry instead. I spent 2 years rebuilding, worked my way up, saved every penny, applied for a teaching position in Seoul because I wanted to be as far from that life as possible. And then I met you." She pulled back to look at him. "You saved me, Siwon. You gave me a life I never imagined possible. You loved me when I thought I was unlovable. You made me whole again." His thumbs wiped her tears. "You saved yourself, my love. You were already whole when I found you. I just recognized what everyone else was too blind to see. You're the strongest person I've ever known." "I don't feel strong right now." "Because he's a ghost from a past that still haunts you." His expression hardened. "But ghosts can be exorcised. And I'm exceptionally good at making problems disappear." "What are you going to do?" That dangerous smile. "Have a conversation, man to man, help him understand the magnitude of his mistake." He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with controlled precision. "Stay here. This won't take long." "Siwon." He kissed her deep and possessive. "Trust me." Then he was gone, his men following. And Diana was left with terrible certainty that David Chen's life was about to change forever. Through the walls, she heard a door open, heard David's aggressive voice. "About damn time someone with authority showed up. I want that crazy woman arrested for— His voice cut off abruptly. Siwon's voice, too low to distinguish words, but the tone was unmistakable. Dangerous. Controlled. Deadly. Then David again, louder, nervous now. Who the hell are you? You can't just— A crash. The girlfriend screaming, security guards shuffling nervously. Diana stood, moving to the door despite Hyun's protest. She had to see. Through the window of the adjacent room, she watched Siwon lift David by his throat, one-handed, slamming him against the wall hard enough to crack the plaster. David's feet dangled off the ground, his face turning purple as he clawed at Siwon's grip. My name is Kang Siwon, her husband said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The woman you put your hands on is my wife. Do you understand what that means? He dropped David, who collapsed, gasping. That means you just signed your own death warrant. David scrambled backward. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know she was married. Married? Siwon's laugh was cold. You think I'm angry because of a legal document? No, I'm angry because you destroyed the woman I love years before I found her. Because you left her pregnant and homeless. Because you stole from her, abandoned her, caused her to lose a child she desperately wanted. David's face went white. She told you that? She's lying, Siwon kicked him in the ribs, hard. The sound of bone cracking echoed through the room. David's girlfriend screamed. Security guards looked away. Nobody was going to stop this. Nobody could. Let me explain something. Siwon crouched beside David's writhing form. I own this city in ways you can't comprehend. I control businesses, politicians, police. I have men who would kill for me without question. And that woman in the other room? She's the only thing in this world I value more than my own life. He grabbed David's hair, forcing his head up. So when you pushed her, when you made her bleed, when you made her cry, you set in motion events you cannot stop. Do you understand? Please, David whimpered. I'm sorry, I'll apologize. Your apology means nothing. Your remorse is worthless. Siwon released him with disgust. But I'm not going to kill you. Death would be too merciful. He stood, straightening his suit jacket. Yi-jun, pull up his information. One of Siwon's men pulled out a tablet, fingers flying. David Chen, age 33, works at Chen Investment Group, his father's company. Current salary 300,000. Trust fund worth approximately 1.5 million. Engaged to Rebecca Park, daughter of Park Technologies CEO. Siwon smiled. Interesting. Does Daddy know his son is a con artist who preys on vulnerable women? David's eyes widened in terror. No, please don't. Does your fiancé know about Diana? About the baby you abandoned? Please. By morning, everyone will know. Siwon pulled out his phone. Your father will receive documentation of every cent you stole from Diana. Your fiancé will receive a detailed timeline of your relationship with Diana, including medical records from her miscarriage. Your employer, oh wait, that's your father too, will receive testimonies from 3 other women you've conned. Yes, I had you investigated in the last 20 minutes. Technology is remarkable. David was sobbing now. You can't do this. You'll ruin my life. Your life? Siwon's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. You ruined hers. She lost a child, lived in her car, starved, suffered while you spent her money on whatever meaningless pleasures you desired. So yes, David, I'm going to ruin your life. I'm going to take everything from you. Your job, your family, your fiancé, your reputation, your money, all of it. He leaned down one more time. And every time you lose something, every time you feel desperate and hopeless and worthless, I want you to remember the woman you kicked in a mall today. I want you to remember that your destruction came because you were foolish enough to hurt someone I love. Siwon straightened, addressing his men in Korean. They nodded, moving efficiently. Wait, David struggled to his feet, clutching his ribs. What are you doing? You can't just— I can do anything I want. Siwon's smile was pure ice. Welcome to my world. Enjoy your stay. It's going to last the rest of your life." He walked out without looking back, leaving David's pleas echoing behind him. When Siwon re-entered the room where Diana waited, his expression immediately softened. The monster disappeared, replaced by the man who loved her. "Are you ready to go home?" he asked gently. She should feel guilty, should protest, should tell him what he'd done was excessive. But looking at him, remembering everything David had taken from her, everything he'd destroyed, she felt only relief. "Yes," she whispered, "take me home." He gathered her carefully, as if she was made of glass, and carried her out of the mall. Behind them, David's world was already beginning to crumble, and Diana let herself feel something she hadn't allowed herself in 3 years. Vindication. The drive home was silent. Siwon held her hand the entire time, his thumb tracing circles on her palm, his jaw still tight with residual anger. Diana watched Seoul pass by through tinted windows, the Christmas lights blurring into streams of colour. "I cancelled our dinner reservation," he said quietly. "That's okay. I'll cook for you at home, or we can order in, whatever you want. I just want to be with you." His hand tightened on hers. "You have me. Always." When they arrived at the penthouse, Siwon dismissed the staff, sent his guards to their posts, and led Diana to their bedroom. He unzipped her torn dress carefully, his fingers gentle on her skin. "Shower with me," he asked softly. She nodded. Under the hot water, he washed her hair, his hands massaging her scalp with slow, soothing circles. He cleaned her wounded lip with careful attention, pressed kisses to her shoulders, her neck, her temple. No urgency, no demand, just tenderness. "I'm sorry," she whispered. He turned her to face him, water streaming between them. "For what?" "For never telling you the complete story. For letting him affect me so much, for—" "Stop." His hands cupped her face. "You have nothing to apologize for. Trauma doesn't have an expiration date. Pain doesn't disappear just because we want it to. You survived something devastating, and you're allowed to still carry scars, tears mixed with shower water. I thought I was over it. Healing isn't linear, my love. It's messy and complicated, and sometimes we take steps backward. But you're not alone anymore. You don't have to carry this by yourself." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "I've got you. I'll always have you." They stood there for a long time, just holding each other under the water until Diana's trembling stopped and her breathing evened out. Later, wrapped in plush robes, they sat on their bedroom balcony overlooking Seoul. Siwon had ordered her favourite food, Korean fried chicken and tteokbokki from a place in Itaewon, and opened a bottle of expensive wine. "Eat," he encouraged, placing choice pieces on her plate. "You need your strength." She managed a few bites, more to please him than from actual hunger. "What happens now?" she asked. "With David?" Siwon's expression hardened. By tomorrow morning, his fiancée will have broken off their engagement. By noon, his father will have removed him from the company. By evening, his trust fund will be frozen pending investigation into fraudulent activities. Within a week, he'll be unemployable anywhere in his industry. Within a month, he'll be broke. And the money he stole from you? Already seized from his accounts. You'll have it back with interest by Friday. He paused. I also found the other 3 women he conned. They'll receive restitution as well. Diana set down her chopsticks. You did all that in 3 hours? I made some calls. He shrugged as if he'd done nothing more significant than order takeout. I have resources. Siwon, he took her hand. Do you think it's too much? Do you want me to stop? Did she? David had destroyed her life without a second thought, had left her to suffer while he moved on to his next victim. She'd rebuilt herself through sheer willpower, but the scars remained. No, she said softly. I don't want you to stop. Satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. Good, because I wasn't going to. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Diana asked the question that had been bothering her. How do you do it? Control this entire city? You're only 32. Siwon smiled, that dangerous smile that always made her pulse race. My father built an empire in the shadows. When he died 6 years ago, I inherited everything. But I'm not my father. He ruled through fear alone. I rule through fear and strategy. I give people what they want: protection, money, power, solutions, and in return, they give me loyalty. And if they betray you, then I remind them why fear is the more powerful motivator. He looked at her seriously. Does it bother you? What I am? What I do? She considered this. When they'd met, she'd known he was wealthy and powerful, but not the extent of it. The truth had revealed itself gradually. The bodyguards, the lavish lifestyle, the way people reacted to his name. By the time she understood the full scope of his empire, she was already in love with him. I won't pretend to love everything about your world, she said honestly. The violence, the danger, the moral grey areas. But I love you, and I know that everything you do, every terrible thing, it's to protect what you've built and the people you care about. You're not one of those women who fell in love with the danger and power, are you? There was vulnerability in his question. You love me despite it, not because of it. I love you for you. She moved from her chair to his lap, wrapping her arms around his neck. The man who brings me coffee in bed every morning, who learns English rom-com phrases to make me laugh, who holds me when I have nightmares, who makes me feel safe and cherished and valued. That's the man I love. He buried his face in her neck. I don't deserve you. We deserve each other. She tilted his face up. We're both survivors, Siwon. We've both been through hell and came out stronger. That's why this works. We understand each other's scars. He kissed her then, deep and slow, pouring everything he felt into it. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with emotion and desire. I need you, he whispered. I need to feel you. Know you're safe. Know you're mine. I'm here. I'm yours. He carried her inside, laid her on their bed with reverent care. Their lovemaking was slow and intense, a reaffirmation of everything they were to each other. Every touch was a promise, every kiss a declaration, every whispered word a vow. And when they finally lay tangled together, breathless and sated, Diana felt the last of the day's trauma release its grip on her heart. I love you, she whispered against his chest. My everything, he murmured back. She fell asleep in his arms, safe and loved, while outside their penthouse, Siwon's empire worked through the night to dismantle David Chen's entire existence. We're getting to the most intense part now. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our dramatic love stories. Comment below what you think David deserves, and let's continue with this journey. The next morning, Diana woke to Siwon's phone ringing incessantly. He extracted himself from her arms with a whispered apology, taking the call in Korean as he walked to the balcony. She stretched, feeling the pleasant soreness from last night, and checked her own phone. 61 missed calls, 32 voicemails, hundreds of text messages. Her stomach dropped. The first text was from her friend Maya back in the States. Girl, what the? You're married to a mafia boss? And that's your ex getting destroyed on social media? Diana's hands shook as she opened Instagram. The top trending topic in Seoul was hashtag Apgujeong Plaza incident. Someone had posted the security footage, the entire confrontation. David pushing Jin-ho, knocking her down, standing over her. The video had 21 million views and counting. But that wasn't the worst of it. Someone, probably one of Siwon's people, had created a thread exposing David's entire history. Bank statements showing the money he'd stolen from her, medical records from her miscarriage, testimonies from the other women he'd scammed, his engagement announcement next to a timeline proving he'd started dating Rebecca while still taking Diana's money. The internet was eviscerating him. Worse, someone had leaked Siwon's identity, photos of them together, their marriage certificate, articles about Kang Siwon's empire and influence. Oh, God, Diana whispered. Siwon returned, his expression grim. You've seen it. The whole world has seen it. Siwon, your identity, was going to come out eventually. He sat beside her, taking the phone from her trembling hands. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about how you're handling this. Everyone knows everything about David, the baby, my past. And they're on your side. He showed her his own phone. Look at the comments. Look at how people are responding. He was right. Thousands of comments poured in, overwhelmingly supportive. That man is trash. She deserves better and clearly found it. A mafia boss husband with revenge on his mind. That's the dream right there. The way he picked her up and carried her out, that's love. David Chen trending for being exposed as a con artist. Good. Rot in hell, buddy. Diana, if you see this, you're a queen. Hold your head high. The fact that he kicked a pregnant woman he abandoned and then got shocked when her husband ruined his life. The audacity. More texts came through. Former colleagues, friends, even some of Siwon's business associates offering support. How are you so calm about this? Diana asked. Siwon shrugged. Because controlling the narrative is part of controlling power. Yes, people now know I'm your husband. They know what I am. But they also know that I protect what's mine with absolute ruthlessness. That's not bad for my reputation, it's reinforcement. His phone rang again. He glanced at the caller ID and smiled coldly. Speaking of which, he answered in Korean, listened for a moment, then switched to English for Diana's benefit. Mr. Chen. Yes, the senior Mr. Chen. Thank you for calling. He put it on speaker. Mr. Kang? An older man's voice, tight with fury and fear, came through. I'm calling to discuss my son. There's nothing to discuss. Your son assaulted my wife. Actions have consequences. He made a mistake, a regrettable mistake, certainly, but ruining his entire life. He ruined her life first. I'm simply returning the favor. What do you want? Money? A business deal? Name your price to make this go away. Siwon's eyes met Diana's. You think I can be bought? Everyone can be bought, Mr. Kang. I've been in business 45 years. I know how this works. Then let me educate you on how my world works. Siwon's voice went cold. Your son stole from a vulnerable woman, left her homeless and pregnant, caused her to lose a child from stress and malnutrition. Then, yesterday, he physically assaulted her in public. These are not mistakes, Mr. Chen. These are patterns of behavior that reveal his character. She probably... Choose your next words very carefully, Siwon interrupted, his tone deadly. Because if you disparage my wife in any way, I will extend my retribution to include you personally. Silence on the other end. Here's what's going to happen, Siwon continued. Your son will issue a public apology to my wife and the other women he's conned. He will enter therapy to address his abusive tendencies. He will pay full restitution to all his victims, and he will never ever come within 100 meters of my wife again. If he does, I'll consider it an act of aggression and respond accordingly. And if he does all this, then I might allow him to rebuild some semblance of a life. Might? I haven't decided yet. This is extortion. No, this is justice. If you want to involve the legal system, please do. I have excellent lawyers and more than enough evidence to have your son imprisoned for fraud, theft, and assault. The choice is yours. Another long silence. Then, defeated. He'll comply. Smart decision. Siwon ended the call without saying goodbye. Diana stared at him. You're enjoying this immensely. He pulled her close. Is that wrong? Probably. But I think I'm enjoying it too. That's my girl. He laughed, the sound genuine and warm. Over the next few days, Diana watched David's world crumble in real time through social media. Rebecca Park broke off their engagement with a scathing Instagram post that went viral. Chen Investment Group released a statement distancing themselves from David and announcing his immediate termination. 3 major news outlets ran exposés on his pattern of financial and emotional abuse. The public apology came on the 4th day. David, looking haggard and broken, stood in front of cameras, and read from a prepared statement. I want to apologize to Diana Kang, formerly Diana Thompson, for the pain and suffering I caused her. I was selfish, cruel, and abusive. I stole from her, abandoned her when she needed me most, physically assaulted her. There is no excuse for my behavior. I'm sorry to the other women I've hurt. I'm entering therapy to address my issues and will spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. He looked directly into the camera, and Diana knew Siwon had scripted this part specifically. To Mr. Kang, I apologize for hurting your wife. I understand now the magnitude of my actions and accept full responsibility for the consequences. The video ended. Diana turned off her phone and looked at Siwon, who was working on his laptop beside her on the couch. "It's done?" she asked. "It's done." He closed the laptop. "How do you feel?" She considered this. "Lighter. Like I've been carrying this weight for 3 years and finally put it down." "Good." He pulled her into his arms. "You never have to carry anything alone again. Whatever burdens you have are ours now. We shoulder them together. That's not fair to you. Love isn't about fairness. It's about choice. I choose you, Diana. Every day, every moment, I choose you." She kissed him, pouring 3 years of pain and healing and gratitude into it. "I choose you too." That night, Siwon took her to a private restaurant he owned in Gangnam. The entire place had been reserved just for them, candlelit and decorated with her favourite flowers, white roses and purple orchids. "What's all this?" she asked as he pulled out her chair. "A celebration. Of what? You. Your strength, your resilience, your freedom from the past." He sat across from her, taking her hand. "I know the last few days have been overwhelming. I wanted to give you something beautiful to remember instead." Dinner was exquisite, a fusion of Korean and soul food that somehow worked perfectly. They ate and talked and laughed, and Diana felt more herself than she had in days. After dessert, Siwon stood and extended his hand. "Dance with me." "There's no music." He pulled out his phone, pressed play, and "Adore You" by Harry Styles filled the restaurant. He'd been learning her favourite songs, building playlists that mixed her American tastes with Korean artists he loved. They swayed together in the candlelight, his arms around her waist, her head on his chest. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For loving me, for protecting me, for giving me a life I never imagined possible. Thank you for trusting me with your heart." He tilted her face up. "Thank you for seeing past what I am to who I am. Thank you for choosing me. Always." He kissed her there in the candlelight, and Diana felt the last piece of her broken heart heal. David had shattered her, but Siwon had gathered every piece and put her back together with gold, making her more beautiful for having been broken. The music swelled and they danced until midnight, wrapped in each other and the promise of tomorrow. 2 weeks later, on Christmas Eve, Diana received a notification from her bank. $143,000 had been deposited into her account. Every cent David had stolen, plus interest, plus compensation for pain and suffering. She stared at the number, remembering the girl who'd had $23 and a prayer, who'd rebuilt herself from nothing. That girl felt like a lifetime ago. "What will you do with it?" Siwon asked, reading over her shoulder. An idea had been forming for days. "I want to start a foundation for women who've been financially abused by partners, help them get back on their feet, provide resources, housing, job training, therapy, everything I wish I'd had." Siwon's smile was brilliant. "I think that's perfect. I'll match whatever you put in and help you set it up." "Siwon, you don't have to—" "I want to. We'll call it—" He considered. "The Phoenix Foundation, because everyone deserves a chance to rise from the ashes." Diana's eyes filled with tears. "You're amazing." "I learned from the best." He pulled her close. "Come on, we have a Christmas party to get to." That evening, Siwon's penthouse filled with people. His business associates, her friends from the international school where she taught, even some of his crew members with their families. It was a strange mix of worlds, but somehow it worked. Maya had flown in from the States and spent the entire evening gawking at everything. Girl, she whispered to Diana in the kitchen, your husband is fine and rich and obsessed with you, and he destroyed your ex. You're living the fan fiction life. Diana laughed. It's pretty surreal. Surreal? Diana, 3 years ago you were sleeping in your car. Now you're married to the King of Seoul, living in a penthouse that probably costs more than a small country. How did this even happen? I came to Korea to teach English. We met at a charity gala the school hosted. He bid an obscene amount of money for a date with me at the auction, and the rest is history. He bid on you? How much? $60,000 for one dinner. Maya's jaw dropped. I'm sorry, what? Saiwon appeared behind Diana, wrapping his arms around her waist. Best investment I ever made. Maya fanned herself. And he's charming. Girl, if you ever get tired of him. She won't, Siwon said confidently, kissing Diana's neck. The party continued late into the night. At midnight, Siwon called for everyone's attention. Thank you all for coming, he said in English, then repeated in Korean. This year has been transformative for me. I found love, got married, and learned what it truly means to have something worth protecting beyond power and money. He looked at Diana, his eyes soft. My wife has taught me that strength isn't just about control or fear. It's about vulnerability, forgiveness, resilience. She survived things that would have broken most people and came out stronger. She's my inspiration and my anchor. He raised his glass. To Diana, to love, to second chances, and to the family we're building together. Merry Christmas. Everyone cheered, glasses clinking. Diana was crying again, but these were happy tears. Later, after everyone left and they were alone in their bedroom, Siwon gave her his gift, a small velvet box. Inside was a necklace, a delicate gold chain with a pendant shaped like a phoenix rising from flames. You rose from the ashes of your old life, he said softly, fastening it around her neck. You're my phoenix, beautiful, powerful, reborn. She touched the pendant, overwhelmed. I love it, I love you. I love you more. He produced another box. And I have one more thing. This box was larger. Inside was a leather portfolio. She opened it to find legal documents. What is this? The deed to a building in Itaewon. For your foundation. It's already been renovated and furnished. You can start helping women as soon as you're ready. Diana couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Siwon, this is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough to show you how much you mean to me. He cupped her face. You wanted to help women who've been where you were. Now you can. Turn your pain into purpose, my love. Change lives the way you changed mine. She kissed him through tears, thanking him wordlessly for seeing her, understanding her, empowering her. They made love slowly that night, savouring each other, celebrating how far they'd come and the future stretching ahead. As Diana lay in Saiwon's arms afterward, watching snow fall on Seoul through their bedroom windows, she thought about the journey that brought her here. The pain of betrayal, the darkness of loss, the slow climb back to herself, the unexpected love that changed everything. David had tried to break her, had taken everything and left her with nothing. But she'd survived, she'd rebuilt, she'd risen. And now she was here, in the arms of a man who would burn the world down to keep her safe, starting a foundation to help other women rise from their ashes. What are you thinking about? Siwon murmured, half asleep. How grateful I am for all of it, even the bad parts, because they led me to you. I'm the grateful one. He tightened his arms around her. You gave me something I never thought I'd have. A home. Not a house or a penthouse, but a real home. A place I want to return to every night. A person who makes me want to be better. You are better. You're the best man I know. He laughed softly. I'm a criminal, my love. You're my criminal, and you have a good heart, even if you hide it under layers of intimidation and designer suits. Only for you. Everyone else gets the intimidation. She smiled against his chest. I can live with that. They drifted to sleep as Christmas morning dawned. Two survivors who'd found each other against all odds, building a life from the ruins of their pasts. 3 months later, the Phoenix Foundation opened its doors. The building in Itaewon was beautiful, modern and welcoming, with housing for 25 women, job training facilities, therapy offices, and a childcare centre. Diana stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Siwon beside her, cameras flashing. "This foundation exists because I lived this experience," she said into the microphone. "I know what it's like to have nothing, to be abandoned by someone you trusted, to lose everything and wonder if you'll ever be whole again. But I also know that with support, resources, and belief in yourself, you can rise, you can rebuild, you can thrive." She looked at Siwon. "I had to do it alone, but the women who come through these doors won't have to. We'll be here for every step of their journey." The first resident moved in that afternoon, a woman named Jiwon who'd been left homeless with 2 children after her husband emptied their accounts and disappeared. Diana helped her unpack, sharing her own story, offering hope. "You really came back from all that?" Jiwon asked, tears streaming. "I did, and you will too. I promise." That night, Diana returned to the penthouse exhausted but fulfilled. Siwon had dinner waiting. He'd been taking Korean cooking classes to surprise her and was actually getting good. "How was the first day?" he asked, setting bulgogi and banchan on the table. "Perfect. Overwhelming, but perfect." She sat, accepting the food gratefully. "We already have 15 applications for next month. We'll expand. Buy another building, whatever you need." "You've already given so much. And I'll give more. This is important, Diana. You're changing lives. That matters more than any business deal I could make." She reached across the table for his hand. "Have I told you today that you're amazing? Once or twice, but I never get tired of hearing it." They ate and talked about the foundation's future, about the women they'd help, about the life they were building together. Later, as they prepared for bed, Diana's phone buzzed. An email from an unknown address. She almost deleted it, but something made her open it. It was from David. Her heart stopped. "What is it?" Siwon asked, noticing her expression. "David emailed me." His expression darkened. "What does it say?" She read it aloud. "Diana, I know I have no right to contact you. I know I don't deserve any response, but I saw the news about your foundation and I wanted to say I'm proud of you. You took the worst thing I ever did and turned it into something beautiful. That's who you always were. Someone who found light in darkness. I'm sorry. I was too selfish and broken to see it. I'm in therapy now, really trying to change. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know that you deserved better than me, and I'm glad you found it. I hope you're happy. You deserve all the happiness in the world. David." Silence filled the room. "How do you feel?" Siwon asked carefully. Diana thought about it. 3 months ago, seeing David's name would have sent her into a panic. Now, reading his words, she felt nothing. No anger, no pain, no satisfaction. Just nothing. "I feel free," she said finally. "Like that chapter is completely closed." "Do you want to respond?" "No. There's nothing to say. He's part of my past and I'm focused on my future." She deleted the email and set down her phone. "Besides, I have everything I need right here." Siwon pulled her into his arms and she melted into his embrace. "I love you," he whispered. "My phoenix, my fighter, my everything. I love you too. My protector, my partner, my home." They stood there in their bedroom, the Seoul skyline glittering outside, holding each other and the future they were building. Diana had been broken, abandoned, destroyed, but she'd risen. And in rising, she'd found love, purpose, and a power she never knew she possessed. The power to transform pain into hope. Not just for herself, but for every woman who'd walk through her foundation's doors. David had kicked her in that mall, thinking she was still the broken woman he'd left behind. He couldn't have been more wrong. She was Diana Kang now, wife to Seoul's underground king, founder of a movement, a survivor who refused to let her story end in tragedy. And as Saiwon kissed her, deep and sweet and full of promise, she knew this was just the beginning. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more Afro-Korean romance stories, and comment below telling me what you thought about Diana and Saiwon's love story. What should our next story be about? Should we do more mafia romance? Forbidden love? Let me know in the comments. And to everyone celebrating, I wish you a beautiful holiday season filled with love and joy. Until next time, keep believing in second chances and the power of love to heal all wounds. See you in the next video.